The Simpsons has long been known for its uncanny ability to predict the future, with many of its storylines seeming to anticipate major events that later unfolded in real life. Whether it's political developments, technological advancements, or social trends, the show has earned a reputation for offering a glimpse into what could lie ahead. These predictions are not only fascinating but also raise the question, how could a cartoon series that first aired in 1989 foresee such specific and sometimes bizarre events? As we move into the year 2025, fans of The Simpsons are particularly intrigued by the predictions that may come to fruition in the near future. From environmental disasters to space exploration, the show's ability to tap into the collective fears and hopes of society has made it a cultural touchstone. In this video, we will explore some of the most chilling and mind-boggling predictions made by The Simpsons that could become a reality in 2025. These predictions might sound outrageous at first, but when examined closely, many have eerie parallels to current events and trends. Before we dive into the details, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Now, let's take a closer look at the predictions from The Simpsons that could make you rethink the future. One of the most striking predictions made by The Simpsons is the possibility of a large-scale environmental disaster, which could become a reality in the coming years. The show has often touched on environmental issues, from pollution to climate change, and many of these storylines have surprisingly mirrored real-world events. In particular, The Simpsons has predicted natural disasters on a massive scale, giving viewers a chilling glimpse of what might be in store for the planet. One notable prediction comes from the 1990 episode titled Homer vs. Lisa and the Eighth Commandment, where the show depicted a giant oil spill, followed by a series of disastrous consequences. The scene, which involves a massive environmental catastrophe, eerily resembles the 2010 BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, one of the worst environmental disasters in history. Though the show aired 2 decades before the disaster occurred, it seemed to foresee the devastating effects of such an event. Another significant prediction appears in the 1993 episode Treehouse of Horror 4, where Springfield experiences a massive environmental collapse. The citizens are forced to evacuate as the town is overtaken by environmental destruction, including the collapse of the ozone layer. This scenario parallels current discussions around global warming, the depletion of natural resources, and the catastrophic consequences of unchecked industrial practices. As we move further into the 21st century, environmental issues are becoming more pressing, with scientists warning of imminent threats to the planet's climate stability. With rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and deforestation becoming more prevalent, it's not hard to see how The Simpsons' depictions of large-scale environmental disasters could eventually come true. While these predictions may have seemed far-fetched when they first aired, the reality of environmental crises is increasingly difficult to ignore. Could The Simpsons be right again? Only time will tell. Another fascinating prediction made by The Simpsons involves the future of space exploration, particularly human migration to Mars. While this concept may have seemed far-fetched when it was first introduced, the idea has gained considerable traction in recent years, with space agencies and private companies actively working toward making human settlement on Mars a reality. The Simpsons' early foresight in this area demonstrates its uncanny ability to predict major technological and societal shifts. The most notable example appears in the 2005 episode The Simpsons Movie, where Homer Simpson embarks on a journey to the moon, but it is in the show's later seasons that Mars comes into focus. In the 2012 episode titled The Full Monty, a brief segment shows Mars as the next frontier for human colonization. While it's portrayed in typical Simpsons fashion, humorous and exaggerated, it presents the idea of Mars as an alternative living space for humanity. The episode even hints at the possibility of Earth becoming uninhabitable, forcing humans to look to other planets for survival. This concept of Mars as a potential new home has gained significant real-world attention, particularly through the efforts of Elon Musk's SpaceX program. Musk has been an outspoken advocate for establishing a human colony on Mars, with the goal of sending people to the Red Planet as early as the mid-2020s. NASA, too, has made strides toward this ambitious goal, with plans for the Artemis missions aiming to return astronauts to the Moon as a stepping stone for future Mars missions. The idea of human migration to Mars is not just a science fiction trope anymore, it's becoming a tangible possibility. Experts predict that, while the challenges of establishing a permanent human presence on Mars are immense, the development of new technologies in space travel, life support systems, and sustainable habitats could one day make it feasible. Colonization would require advanced robotics, new energy sources, and self-sustaining food production systems. Furthermore, the psychological and social aspects of life on Mars, including isolation and the impact of a harsh environment, will need to be addressed. In this light, The Simpsons' prediction of human migration to Mars feels like an eerily accurate reflection of the direction in which humanity is headed. The show might have anticipated a time when Earth faces overpopulation, resource depletion, and environmental disasters that could push humanity to seek refuge beyond our home planet. The rapid progress in space exploration and the growing interest in Mars as a destination for human settlement could mean that The Simpsons' playful predictions are closer to reality than we might have thought. In The Simpsons, predictions about the future often mirror the tensions and controversies that emerge in society, and one particularly insightful forecast revolves around the opposition to green energy. As the world grapples with climate change and the need for sustainable energy sources, The Simpsons predicted the backlash against green energy years before it became a point of significant political and ideological division. One of the clearest instances of this prediction appears in the 2011 episode titled The Fool Monty. In this episode, Mr. Burns, the show's iconic villain, switches his focus from dirty energy sources like coal and oil to cleaner, more sustainable energy solutions, such as wind and solar power. However, his transition to green energy is met with criticism, both from within his company and the general public. While this scene may have been exaggerated for comedic effect, it touches on a real-world issue: the resistance to green energy initiatives and the powerful influence of established industries that depend on fossil fuels. In real life, as the world shifts toward more sustainable energy solutions, the opposition to green energy has been fueled by various factors, including economic interests, political ideologies, and concerns about job loss in traditional energy sectors. Fossil fuel companies and their political allies have long pushed back against the transition to green energy, arguing that renewable sources are unreliable, expensive, or impractical for mass adoption. These voices of opposition often fear that green energy policies could hurt profits, disrupt local economies dependent on fossil fuel jobs, or lead to higher taxes or energy costs for consumers. In addition to the corporate resistance, certain political factions, particularly in countries with significant oil, coal, and gas industries, have criticized green energy initiatives as unnecessary or harmful. In the US, for example, debates about climate change and energy policies have often been polarized, with some lawmakers and pundits questioning the science behind climate change or opposing the costs of transitioning to renewable energy. This opposition isn't just limited to politicians or business leaders. On a grassroots level, many people are resistant to the idea of green energy because of the perceived economic burden it might impose. Concerns about higher energy prices, disruptions to industries reliant on fossil fuels, and the fear of change contribute to the skepticism surrounding renewable energy sources. However, as the costs of solar, wind, and other renewable energy technologies continue to fall, and as the evidence of climate change becomes increasingly undeniable, the pressure to embrace green energy solutions grows. The pushback predicted by The Simpsons might have started in the past, but the urgency of addressing climate change has made the transition to sustainable energy a necessity rather than an option. Even so, the resistance to green energy remains a contentious issue, making the show's prediction all the more relevant today. In the coming years, this dynamic will likely continue to evolve. While green energy faces opposition, it also has increasing public and governmental support, especially as the consequences of climate change become more apparent. The conflict depicted in The Simpsons may have been a reflection of the debates we see today, suggesting that the transition to sustainable energy, while inevitable, will continue to be a battleground of ideological, economic, and environmental interests. Flying cars have been a staple of futuristic visions for decades, and The Simpsons has made some striking predictions about this technology, often mixing humor with insightful commentary on human innovation and the challenges that come with it. The idea of flying cars became a recurring theme in the show, with multiple episodes imagining a world where personal vehicles could soar through the sky, bypassing the limitations of traditional ground transportation. One of the earliest predictions about flying cars in The Simpsons appears in the 1990 episode Mr. Plow, where Homer's snowplow business is interrupted by the futuristic presence of flying cars. This scene humorously imagined a future where traffic congestion was no longer a problem, but it also hinted at some of the potential complications, such as chaos in the skies and the need for new traffic regulations. This vision, while comedic in nature, also captured the complexity of the transition to flying cars, a technology that promises convenience and freedom but could also create new hazards and challenges for both infrastructure and safety. The idea of flying cars was revisited in various other episodes, like The Simpsons movie 2007, where the show took a satirical approach to futuristic transportation. The movie depicted a futuristic version of Springfield with hovering cars and other advanced technologies, reflecting the growing excitement surrounding technological progress. The flying car prediction was made even more significant by the timing, during an era when tech companies like Google, Tesla, and others were exploring electric vehicle technology and autonomous driving. The Simpsons effectively captured both the hope and skepticism surrounding the potential of flying cars. In a world where electric vehicles are gradually becoming mainstream, the concept of flying cars feels less like science fiction and more like an eventual reality. Companies such as Terrafugia, Aeromobile, and Urban Aeronautics are already developing prototypes that could bring us closer to realizing the dream of flying cars. However, while the technology is advancing, there remain numerous hurdles, legal, ethical, and technological, that prevent flying cars from becoming a regular part of our daily lives. One of the key issues with flying cars lies in the regulatory framework. How will they be safely integrated into existing air traffic control systems? And how will airspace be divided to ensure the safety of both flying vehicles and traditional aircraft? There are also significant concerns about energy efficiency, environmental impact, and the safety of these vehicles in the event of malfunctions. In addition to these practical concerns, flying cars would also require massive changes in infrastructure. Cities would need to develop designated flying lanes or hubs for takeoff and landing, and new systems would need to be put in place to manage the increased complexity of urban air traffic. While autonomous flying cars might solve some of these problems, questions about privacy, surveillance, and the potential for malfunction are ever present. Despite these obstacles, the predictions made by The Simpsons are beginning to take shape. The show's ability to foresee the development of flying cars highlights the human desire for innovation and the complexity that accompanies technological progress. While we may not be flying to work just yet, the idea of flying cars is increasingly becoming a reality, albeit with many years of development and refinement ahead. The Simpsons has long been known for its ability to predict technological advances, and virtual reality, VR, and hologram communication are no exception. In several episodes, the show delves into the potential of these futuristic technologies, offering both humorous and insightful predictions about how they could shape the future of communication, entertainment, and human interaction. One of the early examples of The Simpsons exploring virtual reality appeared in the 1995 episode Virtual Springfield. In this episode, Homer becomes immersed in a virtual version of Springfield, a groundbreaking concept at the time. The episode cleverly portrays the immersive experience of VR, showing Homer interacting with various characters in a simulated world. While the episode was lighthearted and focused on the humorous side of VR technology, it tapped into a broader theme of how virtual worlds could be used for entertainment and escapism, which we now see as a reality with the rise of VR gaming and immersive environments like Oculus and PlayStation VR. In more recent seasons, The Simpsons continued to explore the potential of virtual reality in a more advanced context. In the 2017 episode, The Burns Cage, the show presents a futuristic, hologram-based communication system. In this episode, a scene shows a high-tech communication device where characters appear as holograms, interacting in a three-dimensional space. This prediction mirrors the advances in holographic technology and the increasing interest in communication tools that allow people to interact with lifelike projections, creating more realistic and immersive experiences compared to traditional video calls. Today, VR and hologram communication are rapidly advancing in real life, with numerous companies working to bring these concepts into the mainstream. Virtual reality has evolved beyond just gaming into sectors like education, training, healthcare, and remote work. For example, VR platforms like Meta's Horizon Workrooms are redefining how people collaborate in virtual office spaces, offering a more engaging experience than traditional video conferencing. VR also enables immersive education, allowing students to explore simulated environments for hands-on learning in ways that were once unimaginable. Meanwhile, hologram communication has seen significant strides with companies like Microsoft developing holographic technologies such as the HoloLens, which allows users to project and interact with 3D holograms. While true holographic communication, where individuals can project themselves as 3D figures in real time, is still in development, advances in 3D video conferencing and augmented reality, AR, are bridging the gap. These technologies aim to create a more lifelike communication experience, allowing people to meet as holograms or avatars, even if they are miles apart. The Simpsons not only predicted these technological developments but also highlighted their potential societal impact. The show often humorously addresses the darker side of technology, such as the potential for over-reliance on VR or the dangers of living in virtual worlds at the expense of real-life relationships. Episodes like Marge in Chains explore how automation and virtual experiences could lead to isolation, suggesting that even as technology advances, it's crucial to balance it with real-world human connection. Moreover, the show's portrayal of holographic communication, with characters interacting in lifelike, three-dimensional ways, hints at the future of human interactions. As VR and hologram technology continue to improve, we may soon see holographic meetings, concerts, and social gatherings that make it feel as though we are physically present with others, no matter the distance between us. While the prediction of VR and hologram communication in The Simpsons was often portrayed humorously or as a futuristic curiosity, the reality is that we are on the cusp of experiencing these technologies in our everyday lives. As VR becomes more accessible and hologram communication becomes more feasible, The Simpsons once again proves to be an astute observer of technological trends, blending humor with an uncanny foresight into how these innovations could reshape our interactions, work, and entertainment in the coming years. The Simpsons has consistently predicted various societal issues, including corruption in sports, which has become a significant topic of discussion in recent years. Through its satirical lens, the show has highlighted how sports, often regarded as symbols of fair competition and entertainment, can also fall prey to the darker forces of greed, manipulation, and unethical behavior. One of the earliest instances of The Simpsons tackling corruption in sports appeared in the 1990 episode, Homer vs. Lisa and the Eighth Commandment, where Homer and Lisa witness the manipulation of sports broadcasts and the underworld of illegal betting. The episode subtly touches on how gambling can influence the outcomes of sporting events, a theme that has only gained more relevance as corruption scandals involving match-fixing and betting manipulation have continued to surface in real-life sports. The show's portrayal of Homer betting on a game and the shady figures involved in that world foreshadowed how gambling could impact the integrity of sports, an issue that has grown over the years. In later seasons, The Simpsons continued to delve deeper into the theme of corruption, specifically focusing on the pressure placed on athletes and the financial motivations that often overshadow fair play. In the 2005 episode, The Homer They Fall, Homer enters the world of boxing, where he is exploited by promoters and forced to fight in dangerous conditions for the financial gain of others. This storyline offers a biting commentary on how athletes, particularly in combat sports, can be exploited by those who profit from their talent, turning sports into a business where success is often determined more by financial backing than by athletic skill. Perhaps the most direct prediction of corruption in modern sports came in the 2013 episode The Fool Monty, where the show depicted a storyline involving the corrupt practices of the International Olympic Committee, IOC. In this episode, Springfield bids to host the Olympics, and the IOC's corruption is exposed as the process is manipulated for financial gain and political leverage. This plot echoed real-life controversies surrounding the IOC and other governing bodies, where allegations of bribery, vote rigging, and unfair practices in the awarding of Olympic bids have been widely reported. The episode humorously exaggerates the extent of corruption, but the underlying message is clear. Power and money often overshadow the principles of fairness and transparency in the world of sports governance. As real-world scandals involving corruption in sports continue to make headlines, such as the 2015 FIFA corruption scandal and ongoing investigations into match-fixing and doping across various sports, it's evident that The Simpsons' predictions were not just clever jokes but reflections of a growing concern. The show has often satirized the complex relationship between sports, money, and politics, foreshadowing the depth of corruption that could permeate these industries. The rise of sports betting, for example, has brought new concerns about match-fixing and the integrity of competitions. With the increasing availability of online gambling and its intersection with major sports leagues, The Simpsons' early critiques seem prescient. In many sports, particularly in football, tennis, and cricket, match-fixing scandals have erupted, with players, coaches, and even referees being implicated in manipulating results for financial gain. As the show pointed out in various episodes, the lure of money and the potential for fame can tempt even the most dedicated athletes into unethical behavior. Additionally, doping scandals in cycling, athletics, and other sports have become a persistent issue, mirroring The Simpsons' portrayals of athletes under immense pressure to perform at all costs. In the 1991 episode Homer and Lisa's Satirical Adventure, the show directly tackled the issue of performance-enhancing drugs, showing how athletes might resort to cheating to maintain an edge in highly competitive environments. This prediction of doping scandals has only grown more relevant with each passing year, as high-profile cases like Lance Armstrong's downfall in cycling and the Russian state-sponsored doping scandal in athletics have shocked the world. The Simpsons' take on corruption in sports highlights the fine line between entertainment and exploitation. As the show continues to serve as both a mirror and a critique of society, its predictions about the intersection of sports, money, and corruption remind viewers that, despite the glitz and glamour surrounding the games, the quest for power and profit can often lead to the erosion of integrity and fair play. Through its sharp wit and satire, The Simpsons has anticipated the ongoing challenges that sports face, where the love of the game sometimes gives way to darker forces lurking behind the scenes. The Simpsons has long ventured into the mysteries of black holes and space, often making surprisingly accurate predictions about the future of space exploration and our understanding of the cosmos. In the 1994 episode Deep Space Homer Simpson becomes an astronaut, experiencing the dangers and wonders of space travel. While much of the episode is humorous, it also touches on complex topics like the dangers of black holes. Homer and his crew come close to being sucked into a black hole, a situation that highlights the growing awareness of such phenomena in public consciousness. At the time, black holes were primarily theoretical, but The Simpsons pointed to humanity's increasing ambition to explore space, which aligned with later scientific developments. In 2019, the Event Horizon Telescope collaboration revealed the first-ever image of a black hole, an achievement that mirrored the show's early exploration of these cosmic objects. The Simpsons had already started discussing black holes and deep space travel, well before these advancements became a reality. In addition to black holes, The Simpsons has also tackled the broader topic of space exploration. In the 2015 episode Simprovised, the show humorously depicted a future where commercial space travel was commonplace. This prediction reflects the rise of private space exploration, with companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic pushing the boundaries of space tourism and commercial space missions. The show anticipated the growing role of private companies in space travel, which has become a significant part of the current space landscape. Other episodes have explored futuristic space technology, such as spacecraft capable of interstellar travel. In the 2001 episode The Blunder Years, Bart and Lisa travel through a wormhole, providing a fantastical look at interstellar exploration. This aligns with ongoing scientific discussions about wormholes, theoretical passages in spacetime that could allow for faster-than-light travel. Throughout its run, The Simpsons has captured humanity's curiosity about space. Its depictions of space exploration have often been ahead of their time, foreshadowing advancements like the discovery of black holes, the rise of private space exploration, and the potential for interstellar travel. As space science progresses, the show's early depictions of black holes and space travel seem increasingly prescient. In addition to space travel, The Simpsons has also hinted at the ethical dilemmas of exploring the cosmos. As private companies race to lead the way in space tourism and agencies like NASA plan missions to the Moon and Mars, the show's portrayal of space exploration as a vast, uncharted territory with both opportunity and peril resonates more than ever. The show's combination of satire and scientific imagination captures humanity's longing to conquer the unknown. In conclusion, The Simpsons has accurately predicted many aspects of space exploration, including black holes, commercial space travel, and private space missions. Its unique blend of humor and insight into the future of space exploration shows how well it captures the spirit of human curiosity. The show's accurate portrayal of black holes, space technology, and the ethics of space exploration highlights the ongoing excitement and challenges of humanity's journey into the cosmos. The Simpsons serves as a reflection of our dreams and fears about space and our potential to reach beyond the stars. The Simpsons has often depicted scenarios involving plagues and food disasters, many of which mirror real-world concerns about pandemics, food security, and environmental challenges. One of the most notable examples is the 1999 episode, The Springfield Connection, where the town faces a massive shortage of food due to a combination of factors, including supply chain disruptions and environmental issues. The episode humorously depicts the collapse of the food system, with people resorting to extreme measures to find food. This episode eerily predicted issues related to food shortages, which have become increasingly relevant as climate change, supply chain issues, and other factors continue to strain global food systems. Similarly, the show has often tackled the topic of pandemics. In the 1993 episode Homer the Vigilante, the town of Springfield faces a mysterious and dangerous virus that spreads quickly, causing panic and chaos. This early depiction of a widespread viral outbreak bears a striking resemblance to real-world pandemics like the COVID-19 pandemic, which would occur almost 3 decades later. While the show's portrayal of a viral outbreak is exaggerated for comedic effect, it highlights the vulnerabilities of modern society to unforeseen health crises. The Simpsons also foreshadowed global concerns about food safety and health. In the 1995 episode Sweet Seymour Skinner's Badasses Song, the show depicted a food contamination scandal in Springfield's school lunch program, where a tainted food product threatens the health of the community. This mirrors concerns about food safety that have grown in importance over the years, especially with incidents involving tainted produce, meat, and processed foods. The episode touched on the potential dangers of poor food regulation, a theme that resonates with current debates around food safety and the global impact of foodborne illnesses. Moreover, the show has explored the rise of genetically modified foods, GMOs, and the ethical dilemmas surrounding them. In the 1994 episode Bart Gets an F, Homer, in a bid to improve food production, begins experimenting with genetic engineering, leading to unintended consequences. This prediction aligns with growing concerns over the long-term impact of GMOs on human health and the environment. Over time, the public debate surrounding GMOs has grown, with many questioning the sustainability of genetically modified crops and their potential risks. The Simpsons' predictions about plagues and food disasters reflect the show's ability to tap into contemporary anxieties about health, food security, and environmental sustainability. By dramatizing these issues in a satirical manner, the show raises awareness about the vulnerabilities of our systems and the potential consequences of neglecting them. As the world faces challenges related to climate change, food production, and pandemics, The Simpsons' predictions remain unsettlingly relevant, highlighting the importance of preparing for such crises and considering their long-term implications. In conclusion, The Simpsons has offered a prescient view of the potential for plagues and food disasters, using satire to explore issues that are becoming increasingly relevant in today's world. Whether through depictions of food shortages, viral outbreaks, or food safety scandals, the show highlights the fragility of the systems we rely on and the unpredictable nature of global challenges. As we continue to face issues related to climate change, food security, and public health, The Simpsons' predictions serve as a reminder of the importance of addressing these risks before they become catastrophic. The Simpsons has long been known for its dark humor and often unsettling predictions, especially when it comes to global crises, including nuclear war and the threat of nuclear weapons. One notable episode, Homer the Great 1995, casually mentions that global leaders could start a nuclear war at any moment, highlighting real-world anxieties about nuclear proliferation. In another episode, Monty Can't Buy Me Love, 1999, Monty Burns attempts to acquire a nuclear weapon for power, satirizing the dangerous allure of nuclear arms and the potential for rogue states or individuals to gain control of such weapons. The show's depictions of nuclear weapons reflect growing concerns over technological advancements, such as unmanned drones capable of launching nuclear weapons, as seen in The Burns Cage, 2009. This foreshadowed concerns about AI and autonomous weapons systems, a pressing issue for modern militaries. The Simpsons also explored the political dynamics surrounding nuclear threats. In the episode Kiss Kiss, Bang Bangalore, 1993, the storyline involves the Springfield nuclear power plant in an international crisis, emphasizing how nuclear weapons serve as a bargaining chip in global diplomacy, a theme reflected in real-world geopolitics, particularly in countries like North Korea and Iran. In The Fool Monty, 2010, Monty Burns takes control of the nuclear plant, subtly critiquing the concentration of power and the dangers of corporate and political interests influencing nuclear safety. This reflects concerns about the privatization of nuclear technology and the potential risks involved. The show's apocalyptic scenarios, such as in The Simpsons movie, 2007, depict how extreme government responses, like isolating a town under a dome, might unfold in the wake of a nuclear threat, satirizing authoritarian measures in response to global crises. A particularly prescient prediction comes from the 2009 episode Treehouse of Horror XX, where Lisa Simpson imagines a future of nuclear destruction, highlighting the catastrophic consequences of unchecked nuclear power. The episode underscores the fragility of global peace and the ongoing threat of nuclear conflict. As global tensions rise, The Simpsons has shifted its portrayal of nuclear war, moving from inevitability to a more urgent call for vigilance and diplomacy in preventing a nuclear catastrophe. This mirrors real-world efforts to control nuclear proliferation, such as the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, NPT. In Pork and Burns 2018, the show once again highlights the unpredictability of nuclear risks, with Burns' schemes leading to unforeseen consequences. This mirrors concerns about accidents at nuclear plants or miscalculations leading to disastrous outcomes. Through its satire, The Simpsons continues to raise awareness of the dangers of nuclear weapons, misused power, and technological risks in warfare, offering a dark but essential commentary on the need for global peace and nuclear disarmament. The Simpsons has often hinted at the possibility of an economic collapse, often in a satirical and exaggerated manner, reflecting real-world economic concerns. One of the most notable predictions appears in the episode Marge vs. the Monorail, 1993, where the town of Springfield is swindled by a conman who convinces them to invest in a monorail system that ultimately leads to disaster. This episode serves as a critique of reckless investment and poor financial decision-making, themes that are echoed during times of financial instability and economic crises. It illustrates how, in times of financial desperation, people and governments are often lured into unsound economic schemes with the hope of quick profits or short-term gains. In another episode, Burns Verkaufen der Kraftwerk, 1991, the Springfield nuclear power plant is sold to a German company, and the town experiences economic upheaval as a result of the plant's mismanagement. This scenario reflects the risks of privatization, corporate greed, and the fragility of local economies, especially when large corporations take over key industries. It foreshadowed real-world concerns about the global financial system, corporate monopolies, and how they could affect working-class communities, as seen in the aftermath of the 2008 global financial crisis. The episode The Great Money Caper 2000 explores the issue of financial instability through a story about Homer and Bart creating counterfeit money. While the plot focuses on the comedic consequences of counterfeiting, it also touches on the idea of economic systems breaking down when the rules are ignored, and the effects of inflation and the loss of trust in financial institutions. The episode highlights how economies can collapse when trust in currency and markets falters, a real concern during times of hyperinflation or widespread corruption. In more recent years, The Simpsons has explored themes of economic inequality and class divides, which can often be precursors to economic collapse. For example, episodes like The Fool Monty 2010 depict Monty Burns, a wealthy businessman, orchestrating the collapse of the Springfield economy to his benefit. This satirical take highlights the growing disparity between the rich and the poor, and the potential social unrest that could stem from such inequality. The Simpsons often uses humor and exaggeration to comment on the fragility of economic systems, underscoring the dangers of greed, mismanagement, and the inequality that can lead to large-scale economic collapse. Through these comedic scenarios, the show offers a warning about the importance of financial responsibility and the long-term consequences of short-sighted decisions. In conclusion, The Simpsons has proven itself to be more than just a satirical animated series. It has become a cultural lens through which we can observe and reflect on society's most pressing concerns, including the potential for large-scale disasters. While much of the show's success lies in its humor and absurdity, its uncanny ability to predict future events and trends demonstrates a deep understanding of human nature and the issues that shape our world. From environmental catastrophes to the complexities of space exploration, The Simpsons has provided a unique commentary on both the present and the future. One of the key takeaways from examining these predictions is the show's consistent ability to tap into societal anxieties and translate them into fictional yet eerily prescient storylines. Whether it's highlighting the dangers of environmental degradation, the growing divide between the wealthy and the working class, or the threats of technological advancements, The Simpsons uses its humor to explore serious topics in a way that makes these issues more accessible and thought-provoking. Moreover, the predictions presented in the show often offer subtle warnings about the consequences of current behaviors, highlighting how small actions today can snowball into major global crises. By using exaggeration and satire, The Simpsons makes it clear that the potential for disaster is not just an abstract concept but a very real possibility if the world fails to address its most critical issues: economic instability, environmental destruction, political corruption, and technological threats. Ultimately, while The Simpsons may not be a fortune-teller, its predictions reveal the timeless nature of human folly and the consequences of neglecting the lessons of history. As we move forward, it is important to consider the warnings embedded in these fictional narratives, reflecting on how we can make better choices today to avoid the disasters of tomorrow. The show may have been a source of entertainment for decades, but its ability to resonate with real-world issues ensures its place as a significant cultural touchstone for both comedy and commentary.